It is April 11th, 2023. We are the second show into Q2, and Bitcoin has officially cracked 30K for the first time in 2023.
Yeah, what do you think's going to happen next? We just cracked 30K last night.
Well, I did a post yesterday talking about, Bitcoin looking like it wants to break out. I talked about like the mini breakout and then the, actual breakout. So essentially we moved up and we've been consolidating for like 2 weeks, kind of in between that, call it 27.5 and 29.5. So we were pushing the high end of that last night and then we finally pushed through it. So in theory, we broke out of the short-term consolidation, assuming, candle stays above that. But when you look at the longer term chart, 31.5, 32, where you have a lot of potential resistance, that 30, it's kind of tough because like that 30 was sort of a support. There's an old range from like 30 to 32. So like the bottom end of it, it's like, all right, well, I guess that was support. But the top end of it was, that 32. So I'm really looking for price to ideally push to at least 32. And then if it runs into resistance there, it makes sense. But either way, I'm excited to see a push up into the 30s. I think getting above 32, like establishing above 32 and then consolidating there would be huge. So I hope it happens because then I can borrow more against my Bitcoin.
Yeah, so
more
we were talking about that in our pre-show chit chat. Yeah, so I've written a bunch of posts about collateralized loans and using, apps like Oasis and Maker Dao to do them. It makes you look like a genius when the bull market hits, because basically in the bear market, you're stacking a bunch of Bitcoin, right? And then you put it in the vault and then take out loans against it for paying, whether you're paying expenses or, some people even lever up and get more Bitcoin with it and then put it back in the vault. So all sorts of stuff that you can do. One of the crazy things is that when Bitcoin eventually goes up, and you're sitting on, all this Bitcoin in your vault, it can change everything, because you've got that DAI loan, and the DAI loan obviously doesn't increase in value unless you pull more out. So, you can borrow $10,000 in the bear market, and then when the bull market hits and Bitcoin triples, you can pay off that 10,000 DAI really easily. So I actually wrote a post yesterday about it, but was talking about different scenarios. I actually used ChatGPT to do like scenario building, which was kind of fun to do. If Bitcoin hits this, then this, and like how much will it have to pay off? So I've got one of these vaults where I plugged in all the numbers. So at the current price, the vault's worth one set 170K, and I had 86K in DAI debt on it. And then I ran the scenario, if Bitcoin goes to 58,000, the vault value would be 342,000. So to pay off the debt, you would only have to sell 25% of the whole vault, pay off the debt. And then I plugged in, what if it went to 100,000? And then it said the vault value the vault value would be worth 586,000. DAI debt would still be 86,000. So you'd only have to sell 15% of the vault to pay off the whole DAI loan. And then you're left with, $500,000 worth of Bitcoin free and clear. So, it makes you look like a genius when you basically stack a bunch of Bitcoin, throw it in the vault at the bottom of the bear market, and then wait for the bull market. You get to pull out your liquidity. Like you were talking about how you thought it was really cool to finally be able to like pull out liquidity from crypto, right?
Yeah, without having to sell the crypto.
Exactly. And there's obviously a bunch of, tax benefits and other stuff that comes along with that if you want to play it smart, and you don't have to claim taxes since it's a loan. And then you can also write off the interest payments.
Yeah, it's going a whole nother level with it. But yeah, I'm glad I got it going. I'm glad that Bitcoin is up a little bit since then. And if that continues, then, like you said, I could either sell a little bit to pay back, or I could, generate more stable coin and have my liquidation price come up some.
Yeah, I mean, I've considered both. I'm not really sure what I want to do yet. If I want to sell a small amount, pay some of the DAI off, or just, keep waiting it out. It's hard to say. I mean, Bitcoin's up basically 100% from the bottom. So
yeah, pretty much. I'm sure I'm not the only one out in crypto land that is having regrets of not buying more sub 20.
I always wish I bought more.